Fridays with Geraldo segment tonight. Actor Sean Penn, very left-wing guy, blaming the ISIS terrorist savages on Bush Cheney.
I mean, these are the guys, he and President Bush and some others, who invented Daesh or ISIS. I mean, they really are that which created it. So I wanted to give him a shout out. Thanks for that.
You want to give credit where credit's due.
Here now to react, Geraldo Rivera has a special coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, entitled Geraldo Rivera Reports Scott Peterson, 10 years on death row. I just think that's profoundly dumb, what he just said. If you remember the Petraeus soundbite in the first Talking Points memo, top of program, Bush Cheney had nothing to do with ISIS at all.
Well, it was interesting, the Petraeus point of view. Remember, I've been advocating for months that the president recruit David Petraeus, give him a pardon, and put him in charge of the fight against ISIS.
Right.
Because of all of our commanders, and there are many with the hardened battlefield experience, Petraeus is the architect of the surge. I think that he really knows more than anyone what the deal is there. And,
he certainly knows more than Sean Penn.
Well, let me say about Sean Penn. You know, he is an uber left-wing person. He is the very definition of the hard left progressive wing of the party. He is also a very compassionate person. I was with him in Haiti during the earthquake, interviewed him there. He really has a great sensibility and a big heart. What he said about Bush Cheney, remember that Sean Penn is an arrogant and self-involved person who believes that everything he does, you know, even his poop doesn't stink. He's that kind of person.
Very eloquent.
Thank you very much. Okay. He couldn't have said it better. He is in many ways, though, relying on a history that is very checkered when it comes to Bush Cheney. And you and I and the President of the United States, George W. Bush, and the Vice President, Dick Cheney, we all supported the invasion of Iraq in March 2003 that did lead to the destabilization of the entire region.
I
can give you one more sentence on leading to how he created.
But as Petraeus pointed out, after the surge and the victory, there was 3 years of stability with no al-Qaeda, no ISIS, no intrusion from terrorism on Baghdad or Iraq, okay? It was only after the United States withdrew its forces from Baghdad and from Iraq that the ISIS thugs were able to infiltrate from Syria. That's the truth. Now, look, is Sean Penn a political scientist? No. All right? But you heard the little seals clapping at the Conan O'Brien.
But that's what they do. You ever see Bill Maher? Same deal.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Right. They don't know anything.
But here's that second sentence. What the U.S. did during our post-surge, pre-pullout, was to keep the Shiite, the sect that we put on top, from attacking their Sunni cousins there in Iraq. We withdrew. They went after each other. The Shiites prevailed. The Sunni extremists morphed into ISIS. Okay. Thereby, you can make a connection that did Bush Cheney lead to ISIS?
You can make a connection
we all
obliquely to anything at any time. The truth is that Bush Cheney had nothing to do with ISIS. Now, Mr. Penn, all right, is in a new movie.
But I can't let you get away with that.
I don't care.
Bush Cheney's administration led to the destabilization of Iraq.
It doesn't matter. It had nothing to do with ISIS. And the facts are the facts. I'll go with Petraeus all day long.
Oh, me too.
Okay?
Me too.
Then you're not disagreeing with me.
Not on that point.
All right. Now, Penn is in a new movie about an assassin with a gun. He's shooting people all over the screen in the movie. But in real life, here's what he says. Go.
I think guns are not something to be missed, especially as, you know, on a serious note, as we talk about it this week and we see this tragic thing that happened in Paris.
All right, so here's a question.
Is he a hypocrite?
You know, I think that's too strong a word. He's just trying to make a living as an actor. This is a role was offered. He took it. Should he explain?
I think that when you invest in actors or plumbers or farmers, a special knowledge that in some way they become our guides to these complex issues, shame on us. Sean Penn is an actor of varying quality from role to role.
He's a good actor.
He's okay. He hasn't had a hit in a while. So he shoots a gun in a movie. That doesn't mean he can't talk about guns.
But the movie is a violent movie about guns, killing people.
He can have a point of view about guns.
Should He explained then, this is what I believe in my personal life, but I took the role because of this. Is that legitimate?
But are you so invested in what Sean Penn thinks that you
I'm just thinking it's a legitimate question.
Just let him.
Do I want it? I don't care what he says.
He used to be married to Madonna. Let him talk about Madonna.
Does Madonna have a gun? No.
A couple of them.
All right. So you're dodging that question. I don't know what that means. Geraldo, everybody, there he is. Watch his special. Scott Peters.